Hey everybody, so I do apologize that this has taken so long to make this video, and also Ava's right here, so if she gets fussy or anything like that, I do apologize again. She's a wonderful little toddler getting into everything. Yes, you are. She's like our own personal tornado. But yeah, so today is actually 12 days postpartum. And we just have been, my husband went back to work yesterday, so we really wanted to spend some time, family time together and everything. And it's been really, really busy. We've gone back and forth to town to take Oliver to doctor's appointments because of jaundice, which I'll explain all of that in another video. And yeah, and my house is a mess. It was cleaned 2 days ago, I swear. And yeah, so anyway, I am hoping that I can get through this video without saying too many times. But yeah, so anyway, I will probably have to do 2 videos for this. So this will be part 1 of my labor and delivery video. And so first off, I wanted to pretty much just start off with Friday the 25th. I made my 37-week video update, if you guys hadn't seen that. And so I explained some of the things that I was feeling that day already in that video. But basically, if you haven't seen that, what was happening is that at nighttime, that night when I was sleeping, I started feeling him like just pushing down really hard a lot, and so it was keeping me awake. Like, I was awake for a couple hours with him doing that, just laying there trying to go back to sleep, but it was really distracting. And so then I went to work at about 4:30 in the morning, and I felt pretty normal. I felt fine, and I cannot remember if it was before or after I went for a walk, but basically I went down to our general offices, and that's about a 20-minute walk or so. And so I walked down there, and when I got back, I really felt like he was pushing down a lot, and it was really, I was feeling pretty sore from it. And so yeah, I don't remember if it was before or after that I went to the restroom, and this is TMI. This whole video is going to be TMI. But I went and I just lost the smallest little amount of my mucus plug. It was so tiny. And I was texting my husband and letting him know, and he was kind of spoiling my excitement, saying, oh, well, you can go for 2 or 3 weeks like that and keep losing pieces of it. So I was aware of that, and I was calm, and I wasn't trying to say, oh, well, I'm going to go into labor, you know, any moment now. Which, you know, I could have, but I was just thinking, okay, we're getting somewhere. We're having progression. So that's that was my excitement from it. And so then I came home at about 2 o'clock from work, and I made my video, and I really felt fine for the rest of the day, as far as I remember. And we had just cleaned the night before, so I don't know if that had anything to do with the way I was feeling that morning. Like sometime with Ava, I went into labor the next day after cleaning up the house really well. Can you not do that, please? Let go. Let go, Ava. Anyway, so I don't really remember a whole lot of what we did that day, but pretty much I was in bed by 9 o'clock. I was ready to go to work the next day, which would have been my second to last day. Sunday was going to be my last day. And so yeah, this is going on. So this was Friday night, the 25th of October. And I went to bed at 9. And then at about 11 o'clock, I woke up because I felt a little cramp. I was thinking maybe I just had to pee. Usually when you're that pregnant and you have to pee, and if you hold it for too long, you get really crampy because everything, you can't hold it that long when you're pregnant. And so then afterwards I came back and I went and laid down on the bed, and I counted probably 3 to 4 more contractions within those 10 minutes. And I was like, okay, those are real contractions. So I decided to get up and time them. And if you look at this, I don't know if you can see it or not, but the time on it is wrong because of daylight savings time changing. It changed the time on this. It says it was 12:28 when I started timing, but it was 11:28 when I started timing. So at this point, they were averaging out at about 3 minutes apart, 2.5 to 3 minutes apart. And I timed for an entire hour. And so it was about 12 o'clock in the morning. I decided to finally go wake Daniel up. Ava, please stop moving the monitor, please. Please, please, please. Come here. I went in, and he was laying on his stomach, and he just puts his head up, but he's like, what's going on? And I was like, honey, I'm having contractions. And he's like, what? And he was so confused. And he kind of just acted like, okay, what's your point? And I was like, honey, I'm in labor. I was like, I've been having contractions for over an hour now that are 3 minutes apart. So it took a few minutes to get him to finally wake up and understand. And he looked at my contraction timer. He didn't really understand it. Honey. Oh, honey. And so then he finally realized, and he's like, oh, okay. Well then. And he gets up, and he's like, okay, well, what needs to go in the car? And I told him, you know, everything was right here in a pile next to each other by the closet. We had everything ready to go. And so I called the doctor's office. I didn't speak with my doctor. I spoke with the doctor that made me very mad in January. If you guys remember that video of me trying to get put back on metformin, she had really bad bedside manner. And she was the doctor I spoke to and who actually delivered Oliver. So, yeah, who would have, yeah. Just my luck, right? But she was actually very nice and everything. So I called and I spoke with her, and she was the nurse on, or the doctor on duty, or on call, whatever. And she was like, okay, well, usually we recommend that you come in if they're lasting 4 minutes apart for an hour or whatever. And I said, well, it's already been an hour, and they're happening within 3 minutes. And she was like, oh, okay. And I told her that I live an hour and a half away, and she's like, oh, okay, do not wait. You need to go ahead and start going to the hospital right now. So my husband at this point was on the phone with his mom, and his mom was not going to be able to make it up here. She lives about 3 hours away from us. And then so he called our friend who has a little girl also, and I had to wake her up in the middle of the night and see if she could come and watch Ava for us, because our neighbor would have, but they didn't wake up with us knocking on the door. So it was, you know, it was 12:30 in the morning. So, and I called my mom and I was talking to her, and then I went and washed my hair. She told me not to go wash my hair, but it wouldn't have made a difference because we were still waiting for my friend Karen to get here. So, you know, I just did that in that amount of time. And so then she finally got here, and Daniel was going over things, and what are you doing? You're watching yourself be silly. And yeah, I just got to the point where it was so, they were just about 2 minutes apart, and I just kept looking at Daniel. I'm like, Daniel, we need to go now. We need to go. We need to go. I just kept telling them over and over again. So finally we go, and we get in the car and everything, and we're driving. And it's, you know, at this point it's about 1 o'clock, so I'd already been in labor for 2 hours. Ow, that really hurts, sweetie. And so then you're gonna keep doing it, aren't you? So with me sitting up, I don't know if my contractions were just getting stronger because I was sitting. I don't really know. You never know. But Yeah, I just felt weird about it, and we were only 30 minutes into our drive, and we still had another hour to go. And I looked at Daniel and I said, Daniel, they're like less than 2 minutes apart, and they're just getting stronger and stronger, and I really feel like we need to call 911. And he was like, yeah, I really think so too. What we wanted though is that we wanted an ambulance to just drive in front of us just in case. But like if I needed to deliver in the car or something. But they insisted that we meet them somewhere and that I be transported in the ambulance, which I did not want to do, especially since I had to be separated from my husband. But that's just not the way that it works. So just keep that in mind. Generally, if you call for an escort, you're not going to get escorted. You are going to be put in the ambulance. So then I get into the ambulance. At this point, I'm already very, very thirsty. They did not have water inside the ambulance, which I thought was really, really weird. We met them at a gas station, and they got me in there. And I was strapped down onto the gurney, and I had to lay down. So I think that might have had a lot to do with the quickness of everything. I don't know if the position was right or what. But I was pretty much having back labor from laying on my back, and I kept telling them I need to roll over, I need to get on my side because my back is hurting so badly. But I couldn't because they needed to put an IV in. And at this point, they were counting my contractions to be like every minute apart. And so they were having a really hard time getting the IV in my arm. And so they tried to do it on this hand. And since they were only a minute apart, you can't be trying to put an IV in during a contraction. So yeah, he finally, after I think about 30 minutes, was able to get it in there and pull it out immediately right before the contraction started. And it was and I, like another TMI thing, you really feel like you have to pee when you're in labor and stuff, and so they stopped the ambulance to let me use the bedpan, which I was really concerned that my husband driving behind us would feel like I was pushing. So I was like, please go let him know that I'm just trying to use the restroom. I sat on there for about 5 minutes, and I was like, this is not going to happen. It's not working. He's either like in the way or something, or I just feel like I have to pee because he's coming out. And I'm really glad we didn't wait, which you'll understand why in just a minute. I could have sat on there for a while, and that would have been a bad thing. So I'm sitting there and I'm asking these guys questions every time I'm not in pain, it was all so fast. And so contractions were actually pretty painful because they were so close together. And with Ava, I wasn't in pain, but these ones I was kind of shouting a little bit. And so my husband being behind us, though, I could see him through the windows. He was my focal point, just the lights on my car. So I really, really, really wanted him to be in there with me. And so we continued driving, and I was asking these guys if they'd ever delivered a baby before. And one of them said 2, and the other one said he delivered his daughter. So I felt okay. And they're like, but we've never delivered in the back of an ambulance before. So that was kind of funny. But yeah, I was kind of nervous, but the main thing was I wanted to make sure that Oliver was not born until my husband was with me. And so immediately after, I'm going to go ahead and pause this one and start the second half, okay? So just a moment.